Hello everyone, I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you are interested in purchasing this book, I will go ahead and leave a link down in the description box below. A recent comment on my channel from viewer Heather White stated the following. I came from a generation, I'm 54, whose parents were able to leave their children enough to buy a home. It's very sad that today young people don't have the reassurance that their parents have assets to leave them or spare money to assist them to cope in the early independent years. Many parents don't even feel it's their responsibility to give their own children a leg up in life. It's almost looked down on with envy when children get handouts from parents now. In my generation, it was expected or at least not looked down on. I think young people have gravitated towards each other to such an extent out of a sense of abandonment that we have seen the rise of wokeness and CRT, which is a form of intergenerational gas lamping. I think she meant lighting there, but never before has one generation insulted its younger generation to the extent that's happening now. We mock the young as snowflakes. Your videos are so important because they educate people on how to get out of debt and prosper. Even with my own home and car, I still struggle with the large purchases. I'm putting plans together for saving for larger purchases and to put some money aside for after I retire, probably when I'm 70. Luckily, I enjoy my job and have enough downtime to enjoy my life. I consider myself lucky indeed. In time, I hope to pass on my assets to my nephews. Giving a leg up to our own young should also be planned for. How else will our own families cope and thrive in their future? Could you do a video on the most cost-effective ways of passing on wealth to others, family, or other loved ones? Well, Heather, I do have similar views on the subject. There isn't really a cost-effective way of explaining this because it depends on what your plans are on leaving your relatives, what you're going to leave them, and each family is different. I can only tell you my thoughts and why I think that way, so here it goes. There are huge divides in our country and many others among the rich and the poor. These two classes of people pretty much hate each other, and whether you love it or hate it, we are a capitalist society. This means that you make money off of your capital. This is how stocks work. You make money off of your money. You put in $100,000 and you get $4,000 back every year as a dividend payment. Rich people teach their rich children how to be rich and stay rich. Poor people teach their children how to be poor and stay poor. This is why rich people buy things that make money and poor people buy things that lose money. It is a lack of education or the type of education passed from generation to generation. If a poor person buys an expensive vehicle because their parents taught them that when they should buy an expensive vehicle, then they will teach their kids to buy an expensive vehicle because they believe that that is the way it's supposed to be. Since the education system does not provide any financial support or education, the way to become rich is being lost throughout the generations. It is just like reading a map. Since we now have GPS and we have Google Maps to tell us where to go, nobody can read a map anymore. My generation, we learned, but the education was lost when technology came into play because now nobody can read a map anymore. If a rich person does not teach their child the value of money, then the child will not know because they were not educated, and the wealth will not be passed down, or it will be passed down, but it will end in that generation, the smaller generation, because they were not taught, so they spend it all as soon as they get it. So do I believe it is correct to pass on your wealth to the next generation? Absolutely. Family absolutely comes first, always. My mom passed on a house to me, and in the end, it put me ahead by about $150,000. But because my mother taught me the value of money and the value of thriftiness, that money was not lost, none of it. It was multiplied by more than 10 times in 10 years. If I were irresponsible or uneducated in finance, that $150,000 would have been gone long ago. When it comes to passing the wealth along to my heirs, they do not have to earn it. However, over time, I will absolutely be watching them and will take them out of my will. They will not get an inheritance if they are spendthrifts, greedy, have drug or alcohol dependencies, or if they have a significant other that will spend it the moment that it's received. Responsibility must be proven to me, so the wealth will be given to their children. In terms of a hand up in the early independent years, that is something that I am currently working on along with my brother. My brother will pay for their college and will have 2 houses. One will be rented out for income, and each of the 2 houses will be passed on. Since there are 4 children, I will be doing something similar on my end for them. The house that I'm in right now will eventually also become a rental, and I have goals and plans of moving back to Northern California, but not in the Bay Area, where I used to live. This house, along with my new house, will also be passed down to them. So this will be 4 houses in total between my brother and myself. And in terms of other things, each child will be given $20,000 by me on their 18th birthday and placed in an investment account. If they are responsible, and will be taught and told by me that if they leave it alone, it will be worth over $2 million by the time they each reach age 65. So each child will have a house given to them for free, each child will have their college paid for, and each child will have their retirement taken care of. All they have to do is take care of the years in the middle, in between retirement, and they have to spend properly. If they want to invest or save more, they can. If they want to spend everything that they make on a weekly basis as they go along, they can. If they want to buy a bigger house and rent out the one that was given to them, they can also do that. That is their choice. But first, finances must be taught through each generation. Since it is not taught in schools, it is the responsibility solely upon the parents. If you are poor, you can teach your child to be poor, or you can teach them to be rich by living within their means. Then they can teach their children to be richer because the first child will have increased their wealth to pass it on to the next generation. Then that next generation can then do the same, then the next, and the next, and the next, and so on down the line. So yes, I do strongly believe that it is up to the parents to give their children a leg up in life if they are worthy. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out. This isn't usually what I look like. My hair is always in a bun. I'm sunburned as crazy. I have to make sure that the lighting's correct, and literally before I make every single video, I'm sitting here with a hairbrush to make my hair straighter. And then I have to pull it, all of it, from the back in half, all of it. I look ridiculous in the back because Instagram. And my hair is never parted this way either. It's always parted right down the center, so it's off on one side. I have to make sure my makeup's good and that this front part doesn't stick up too much. And I sit here, and then I'm like, okay, it's perfect. Now it's time to mess it up. Now take your picture. Yeah, that's what we do for our wonderful thumbnails. And if you're wondering, I'm about to shoot this video. Rocky is behind me on the couch, his couch. Cute little booger. When we woke up this morning, he was all spread eagle. Rub my belly. It was the cutest thing. If a dog ever lays on their back and does the spread eagle, it means there is complete trust between the two of you. And my roommate took him for a walk this morning, which was super cute. And he came back all drooly and happy. And I need a haircut. It's been a year It's been a year since I've had my hair trimmed or cut. For those of you who ask, that's a nice hairdo you did. How much did you spend on that? It's like $5. I only use like the cheapest hair dye possible at Walmart. You know what? I'm gonna probably end up making a video on like the cheap makeup products I buy. I talk crazy about VO5 and Suave, and that's all I've got. And most of my makeup's like 98 cents at Walmart. And I saw while I was picking up makeup at Walmart that they have a deodorant called Ban, which is still 98 cents, which is less than the $1.25 store, which used to be the dollar store. So it's 98 cents for Ban deodorant. Of course they were out and I had to go with the more expensive one, but whenever they're not out, that's like super cheap. Being pretty just takes a smile. A smile is the prettiest thing on somebody and the rest is just gravy. Why am I even talking?